And I mean, you know, back to this idea of the shadow.
Yes.
So when I was like in my first trainings or my first rememberings in this, you know, fucking thing, this matrix,
Mm.
I had some really fucking hard teachers. And by that, I mean, it was great. Great. You had a peak experience. Fantastic. Now let me tell you what's wrong. I mean, my God, right? So what I'm saying is, as I had growth, I also had the humility knocked into me. I mean, if you think of the old ashrams, they'd be there with a fucking toothbrush, scrubbing the floor.
Yeah.
That was the way they did it, right? It was like I just got a few smack across the heads, really fucking bad. You know, what I'm saying is, for you, you know, you were coming up, coming up, coming up. I'm not saying that you had the big ego. I'm not saying that. Ego's not necessarily I'm the best. Ego's when you just no, no, no. You know, like you just ignore the fucking blatant obvious. So it's, you know, sometimes
Yeah.
ego can be self-depreciating as well. You know, like, oh, I could never do that. You know, that sort of thing. So ego for me is kind of like any expression that's not from essence. That's the brain taking over, making an assumption, creating an identity for you, whatever. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean?
I do. I know exactly what you mean. And
No,
it is
I wanted to tell
important.
you something. I wanted to tell you something. And both Johnny and I said it, or Johnny said it to me today, and I said, well, I do want to publicly acknowledge your growth. You know,
Thank
I
you.
mean, you've had a fucking slippery ride, girlfriend. You know,
I
it's
know.
like, but hey, that's growth. That's looking at your shadow. That's doing your shit. And you can see now how you can hold more space, how you can have more compassion, how you have more of an understanding of energy and you're safer. Right? The
Yeah.
ego leads you into some fucking dangerous places.
It really fucking does. It really, really, really does. Yeah. You know what I find, just to add to this shadow work, and I want
Yes,
to
you're
say
allowed,
thank you
darling.
for the
We've given you your
acknowledgement.
accolade now. You can add and you can
Thank you.
do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Is I find that when you do shadow work, when someone goes through something similar to what you've been through, or you've kind of passed through great challenges, you can actually hold that for another person. Because if you can't do that, there's no way you can hold that for another.
Thank you. That's what I've said all along. It's like,
Mm.
unless you've been there, don't attempt to take someone.
Yes. Yes.
You know, like, or don't go with someone who hasn't been there. And I'm not
Mm.
talking about someone, say, for instance, you know, you want to, I'm trying to think. Like, I don't give mothers advice. I'm not a mother.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a mother
Yeah.
in other dimensions of self, but right here, right now, in these conditions, I haven't got a fucking clue,
Yeah.
right? You know, I can give them, or I can be there for them on an individual level as an I being, but as far as a mother, I don't have that wisdom experience. I've got a concept of what it would be like. Yes, I have mothering with my cats, you
Mm-hmm.
know, but what I'm saying is that's fucking different to a kid,
Yeah, absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So, you know, I don't, mainly the mothers come to me when they're ready to come back to themselves. You know, they want to lose the title of mother. Here I am, bitches. So,
Mm.
you know, I get it and I respect. What I'm trying to say is I wouldn't take someone there because I haven't been there. But I could
Yeah.
call on my experience wisdom from other dimensions of self. Sure, I can have a compassion, but I still think there's a lot to be said for, you know, mother to mother advice.
Oh, absolutely.
That's if they
Absolutely.
want mother stuff. I mean, you know, you don't have to be a mother to tell someone about, you know, how to mow the lawn. What I mean is, you know, if you want to focus on mothering, don't come to me. All right, there we go.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of the same thing that someone comes to you with a medical problem. You're not a doctor. It's like, why would you kind of go, well, you should be taking this and this and this. Same deal.